Welcome to another episode about crew life on a cruise ship. I'm working at reception, and tonight our ship Costa Smeralda is leaving the Middle East to start our journey around Africa towards Europe. Today is the last day that we are docked in Muscat, the capital of Oman, before we leave this region. I'm doing late shift now. I start work in the afternoon, so early in the morning I went to pick up my uniform from the laundry. It's cool that they wash it for us and we don't need to spend our free time on it, as we already have too little time for life. I dropped off my dirty uniform and picked up a clean one. Then I went to the office of the Chief Crew Housekeeper because we have a problem in the bathroom in our cabin. The water in the shower drains very slowly, so I left a work order in a special log that they have there for a plumber to come and fix it. In the log, you put your cabin number, describe the problem, write the time, and add your name and signature. Later, during working hours, when the plumber is available, he comes to fix it. Then I went to have a quick breakfast before going out for the last short walk in the city. It was already 9 a.m., so there were only a few people in the crew mess. Most crew members in many departments start work earlier, usually at 7 or 8 a.m., so the mess is very crowded before that, when everyone comes for breakfast before their shifts. I went out to the port. There were several excursion buses at the pier waiting for guests who had bought tours on board our cruise ship. I went to the shuttle bus stop. Today it was a minibus. It's not allowed in Muscat to walk inside the port area, so free shuttle buses are provided to take you to the port exit. As always, near the port there were many local people offering private city tours or taxi services. I decided to walk because the place I was going to was very close, within walking distance. This time the city looked different. There were not many people around because the month of Ramadan started 2 days ago. As Omani people are Muslim, they fast during the daytime. Most places were closed, many local people stayed at home. Our company sent letters with information about Ramadan to all crew cabins. We were informed that from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., while local people are fasting, smoking, eating or drinking in public areas or in the presence of Muslim worshippers is not permitted in the port of Muscat. We were also informed that all bars and restaurants would be closed, but the souk, the local market, would remain open. That's where I was heading. In addition, during Ramadan, all guests are asked to dress conservatively when visiting Muscat. In the letter, the company thanked us in advance for respecting local customs and rules. By the way, on our cruise ship, they arranged a prayer space that is available every night during the month of Ramadan for crew members. I came to the Muttrah Souq because I wanted to buy a present for my mom, as this was our last day here. I really wanted to bring her something from this region. I looked around to see what they had. I didn't want to buy just a souvenir. I wanted something practical. I decided to buy a pashmina because it's something special from here. And as my parents live in Kazakhstan, where winters are very cold, it will keep my mom warm and cozy. I chose a neutral beige-brown color. It was very soft and felt really nice, made of real wool.
My friend, amigo, man, have a look inside.
As I still had some free time before work, I went for one last walk by the sea. It's interesting that as we were coming to Muscat once a week for 2.5 months, it started to feel very familiar and close to my heart. For me, this was the most authentic and cozy port among all the Middle Eastern ports we visited. We also stopped in Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, but Oman feels more real and unique. Local traditions seem more preserved here. After a short walk in the sun, enjoying the beautiful views, I had to return to the port because I needed to be at work at 12:30 p.m. I was really glad that I went out for the small goodbye walk in beautiful Muscat. And before my shift, of course, I went to the crew mess for lunch. Good regular food is something I never miss. Then I went to work. In the beginning of the shift, we always need to clock in with our crew pass and clock out when we are off duty. This is how our working hours are registered on board. It was very quiet at work because all guests were outside enjoying the port, plus now we have only 2,300 guests on board. I also went for a cabin show with some guests that requested an upgrade to a balcony cabin. Now that 2/3 of the ship is empty for the crossing around Africa, we have many free cabins. Because of that, we can do cabin upgrades. During the Dubai season, we were fully booked, so it wasn't possible. During my break, I decided to go to the upper deck to watch the sunset. We have a crew beach with a jacuzzi on deck 19, and that's where I went. It was my last sunset in Muscat. After the first part of my shift, I had a long break, 2.5 hours, from 5:30 to 8 p.m. So I had enough time to relax and do a few nice things before going back to reception to work until midnight. Of course, I went to the crew mess for dinner. Too many food videos today. Then I went to see the dancing show of a famous Russian dancing group, Todas. Before the show started, there was some advertisement, as usual.
Richard and our first sommelier, Flavio. Richard, what kind of package you will suggest to our guests?
Actually, I used to dance quite professionally for many years. And for us, the show group Todas was always like a legend. Their level is really high, but I had never been to their concerts before. And now I could watch their show program on the ship. That felt really cool. They joined our ship as interport artists and will perform several shows before they disembark in Cape Town, South Africa. We can also meet them in the crew bar or at crew parties. Nice that working at reception we have the opportunity to watch the shows, but we have to wear our uniform and we are not allowed to sit. We can only watch while standing. So today we are starting crossing back to Europe around the African continent. You know, Dubai season was very challenging. We were fully booked all the time, around 6,500 guests on board, and reception was crazily busy almost all the time. The majority of guests were from the post-Soviet countries, from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and most of the time these guests spoke only their languages or Russian. And we had very few Russian-speaking crew on board, so it was tough. And our supervisors even printed the pictures of everyone from our team who survived the Dubai season. There were also a lot of immigration formalities, because every week there was a mandatory passport control for all guests in Abu Dhabi. And we also had to collect guests' passports, because in the port of Muscat, local authorities came on board to stamp their passports. And then on the sea day, we needed to give the passports back to the guests. But for me, the Dubai season was not difficult. The time passed very quickly. Plus, the guests from Kazakhstan were always bringing me chocolate. So I guess that now I have enough sweets till the end of the contract. You know, I have been waiting for news from HR about changing position to shops for quite a while now. I mentioned about it in my previous videos, and I already passed all the necessary interviews and they approved me. But now I'm waiting until they can release me from reception. I decided to pass by HR's office, and he showed me an email from HR of the shoreside where it was written that, considering the itinerary and the languages coverage, I can be released from reception at the end of the crossing. So I will have to wait for 1 more month. But it's better than nothing.